Vamos a la playa. Estoy muy excitada. Do you get what just happened? ¿Por qué me reí? We'll go over that specific example in a little bit. Just know that this is one of many instances in which natives won't be able to help but laughing or reaccionar de alguna manera because of an incorrect use of a word. Yo soy Maura de Spring Spanish, and let's now look at 5 typical mistakes that actually turn out to be sexual in Spanish. Empecemos. Número 1. Literally translating excited is a big mistake. ¡Qué excitación! No puedo creer que por fin vamos a la playa. Sí, estás muy excitada. Demasiado excitada. No creo que pueda esperar más. ¿De qué te ríes? De que no sabes lo que estás diciendo. Excitada en español significa horny en inglés. No tiene nada que ver con estar feliz de que algo va a pasar. Para eso usamos emocionada. Ups, es verdad. Excited is one of those false friends you really have to steer clear from. So for this dialogue, I would have said, ¡qué emoción! No puedo creer que por fin nos vamos a la playa. ¿Estás emocionada? Demasiado emocionada. Please do notice the humor in these dialogues. I'm not sure if every Latin American would be as intense about this as Venezuelans, but I do know this type of humor is rather common for a lot of us. In Venezuela, we call it chalequeo, and it's all about double meanings, wordplay, and messing around with people you feel at least somewhat close to. Número 2. Rica can have 2 meanings in Spanish. Before we continue, if you stick till the end, I can tell you about a verb that totally freaks me out as a Venezuelan, but that is perfectly okay, normal, and commonly used by a lot of other Spanish speakers. It was one of those things I struggled to get used to when I first moved to Spain. Ella es una artista maravillosa. Últimamente ha tenido mucho éxito. Ahora está súper rica. ¿Estás hablando de dinero? Claro. Entonces es rica. ¿Qué y yo qué dije? Once again, I'm letting her know she made a mistake by making a joke. Chances are that most of the time, this is how your Latin American friends will handle the situation. Solo para que sepas. In this case, the mistake is not the word rica, but the verb you pair it up with. Also, it's only a mistake if you meant to talk about money. So, Oprah Winfrey es súper rica. We use es, not está, when what we mean to say is that somebody has a lot of money. Todas mis amigas son bellísimas y están súper ricas. Here we use están, not son, to mean they are hot and sexy, which is a reality, not a mistake. See? It really isn't a mistake if you know what you're saying. Use ser for money and estar for hotness. If this difference between ser y estar makes you cringe, Mariana has a video for you that will clear that up. Also know that, at least for me, using rich to talk about money isn't all that common. I mostly say things like Oprah Winfrey es millonaria o multimillonaria. Oprah Winfrey tiene mucho dinero. I also don't use rica to talk about hotness. Instead, I would say, mis amigas están muy buenas o buenísimas. Número 3. Bolas needs the right context to work. Okay. ¿Tienes todo para la playa? Sí, pero necesitamos bolas, ¿no? ¿Para qué? Si puede saberse. Bueno, porque sin bolas nos vamos a aburrir. Las bolas están bien, pero no creo que sean determinantes para la diversión. Te estás burlando de mí, ¿ahora qué dije? I know even in English, using balls like this would sound weird. Nonetheless, English does use the word ball for every type of ball. which is why I thought it necessary to specify that the literal translation for this word would be a mistake in Spanish. We never use the word bola for this, unless we're talking about bolas de billar or something that's played in Venezuela called bolas criollas. Bolas, used like this, sounds more like testicles for us. Every chunk that my US friend used with the word bola in this dialogue should have used the word pelota. Sí, pero necesitamos pelotas, ¿no? Bueno, porque sin pelotas nos vamos a aburrir. That being said, some countries use even the word pelota to talk about testicles. So still proceed with caution. Make sure the context is appropriate and specify when in doubt. Like, necesitamos pelotas de playa. Chunk alert! Use si puede saberse at the end of sentences every time you want to be a little inquisitively ironic or when you're trying to be very polite and respectful. As I've used it in the dialogue, ¿para qué si puede saberse? It's more about irony than respect. Let's test you out a bit, shall we? Let me know in the comments if you know which of the following chunks can also have a sexual connotation. Ese tipo es una rata. Ese tipo es un perro. Ese tipo es un burro. And don't forget to access our free Essential Spanish Chunking Kit through that link we left for you down below. Número 4. Caliente means something different depending on the verb. Decía que iba a llover. Mira cómo está la temperatura para ver si podemos ir a la playa o no. Pero no parece y yo estoy caliente. Claro que sí, amiga. Yo también. Entonces vamos. ¿Vamos a la playa porque estamos calientes o porque hace calor? Ups. Ambas. Ajá. Recuerda que no puedes usar estoy caliente con el verbo estar si lo que quieres es hablar de temperatura. Para eso dices tengo calor. Puedes decir está caliente, el clima o los objetos, pero no la gente. This whole thing about caliente goes well beyond this example. So much so that Paulísima actually made a whole video about it you can check out over here. So, instead of saying estoy caliente, we would say tengo calor, hace calor, está caliente, referring to the environment or objects. Again, not people. Therefore, it is not really a mistake to say estoy caliente, as long as what you mean to say is that you're hot and sexy.
That's right, Maura. In Spanish, well, at least in Mexico, when we say that someone es caliente, we mean that that person has a high sex drive. But if we say that someone está caliente, well, that means that that person is, well, you know, horny.
De hecho, te animo a que digas estas cosas sobre ti, pero sabiendo a quién se las dices, tomando en cuenta el contexto y, sobre todo, adueñándote de ellas. Número 5. Coger sounds horrible for some Latin Americans. Here's that verb I told you about at the beginning. I promise I can behave myself now around Spanish people, but it still hits my ear wrong. Very, very wrong. Maura, cógeme porfa. Disculpa. Cógeme aquí que no puedo con esto. Yo si quieres lo aguanto, pero lo de coger me resulta un poco más complicado. As I told you before, this verb's not really a mistake, not even a problem for every Spanish speaker. Aunque para la mayoría de los venezolanos, our brains translate coger as literally have sex. I'm sure you can see how, if our brains do this, it can quickly and easy get funny and awkward for us, while it means nothing for the other person. De hecho, una vez vi a dos personas que tuvieron este momento de choque cultural mientras estudiaba en Boston. One of the people was Peruvian, and I believe the other one was from El Salvador or Guatemala. The Peruvian said, "Cójame aquí," while handling something to the other person, who immediately looked amused and said, "¿Qué? Aquí sin más." The entire Latin American table burst into laughter all at once. Sí, la mayoría de las veces manejamos estas situaciones con humor. If something's falling off my hands, instead of using "cógeme aquí que no puedo con esto," I would use "aguanta aquí que no puedo con esto," "agarra aquí que no puedo con esto." Honestly, guys, these types of mistakes make learning a new language a far more fun, interesting, and entertaining experience. If you want to continue to learn about it and laughing along with us, why not check out that video that Paulísima made about estar caliente by clicking right on the screen.